Hey, it's Carrie Mason here on Pacha TV. I'm with Richie Santana and Peter Bailey in Pacha, New York, in Pacha upstairs.
Let the beat control your soul.
So, how did you guys first meet?
I guess we met in high school.
We met in high school, yeah.
Yeah, definitely in high school.
16 years old.
Yeah, he was a big techno DJ back then, you know.
At 16?
Playing Limelight, you know.
Yeah. Playing Storm Rave. I think, Richie, you came to my gig, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And we were just like pretty much like local DJs in our area in Staten Island.
Mm-hmm.
And
we didn't get close till we were like 18, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
He was in college and...
Yeah, and I tried to call him up, but you got a white label for Fired Up.
Oh, yeah.
And I tried to call him and said, yo, I'll give you $50 for it.
Yeah.
You're like, sorry, can't do it.
For real?
Yeah, that's when Fired Up was just like, you know, a hot promo and...
Hot promo was like a year before it even came out.
Yeah.
The original mix, just
Yeah.
the first
The original,
one.
yeah.
And how'd you get it?
He was Billboard DJ.
Oh.
I was a college student who was friends with him.
Got you.
So that's how we, you know, pretty much met. And I started doing actually records before Peter. I did this white label of Sweet Dreams, and he actually called me up, yo, can you send me this record? And you know, ever since then we kind of like been friends. He came back from college, and
that's when we really clicked.
he was like, yo, I want to start doing music, and we started doing records together, you know, every once in a while. And I was getting him set up, showing him how to, you know, use all the equipment and stuff. And
Why do you guys think you work so well together?
I think it's pretty much basically just because of the fact we've been friends for so long. And we're from the same place, so I think like our roots are pretty much from the same area.
Yeah.
So we have like the same mentality musically.
same taste.
And, yeah, same tastes. And
What kind of taste? How would you characterize that?
I don't know.
I think our taste ranges from anything. I mean, because
we're from New York, so obviously you always have that.
I mean, I would go listen to a Louis Vega, to Danny Tenaglia, to you know, Carl Cox. You know, like in New York, it's I guess a mixture of everything. So you kind of have to like everything.
Yeah. And when you're our age, coming up, you have to. You can't deny like Junior Vasquez and Danny Tenaglia, and you know.
Yeah, those were like our.
And they were playing everything.
Yeah.
So.
And Richie, I read somewhere that your favorite album was Shaka Khan's Greatest Hits.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah.
I'm big like into classics and stuff like that. You know, like this kind of music that I grew up on. Listening to my parents, my uncles were listening to that music, and my uncles, they used to go to the fun house, you know?
Right.
And that's pretty much where I got all my influence from, you know? And yeah, that's the stuff I love.
How is growing up in Staten Island different from some other area of New York?
There's a dump there. so, therefore, everybody who's been breathing that air is, I think, a little bit out of their mind. Yeah, it's definitely a different place. I mean, the people from Staten Island are like different.
Yeah,
Very
it's
different.
not Jersey. It's kind of like Brooklyn, I would say, because most of them are transplants anyway.
Yeah.
Everybody who's lived in Staten Island has either come from Brooklyn or Queens, and then they just migrate onto like either Jersey or Miami or wherever, you know?
People from Staten Island have their own accent.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess musically it differs because, you know, we're more known for hip hop. You know, you have Wu-Tang Clan, and so it was always like hard to really break into the house music in Staten Island. But we had
people like Anthony Acid, Little Bill.
That's true.
You know, and
in the early days.
and DJ Repeat, which he was a big DJ in Limelight at that time, and pretty much that's where we got our whole
getting into dance music.
Yeah.
What was do you guys even further back remember the first dance record you heard that turned you on to it? So many people had that epiphany moment.
Yeah. Jay Williams, Sweat. That was like a big record for me. That and Work It to the Bone, I think.
Work It to the Bone, yeah. I have to say, probably for me, it was definitely all the first Todd Terry stuff.
Yeah,
Royal House.
Of course.
I think I was like
Maurice Joshua, This Is Acid, and all that.
Yeah. I was listening to hip hop, and then he just got that Royal House album, and I was like, all right, this is something different.
Can You Party?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Those all the records I burnt out from playing them so much.
Peter, one of your specialties is mashups of different tracks together. How did you discover you had a knack for that?
It's just, you know, for me, it's like when I'm in the studio, if I'm not producing, if I'm not feeling inspired to produce, I'll just sit there and, you know, listen to music, and then something will click. I'll be like, oh, I love this track. You know, this section right here could use a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So I just kind of but I'm not inspired to actually do a full-on production or a remix. I want to do
not to mention it's just something for your repertoire, you know. And, and it's just like going back to the old days, like, you know, Junior and all these guys, Danny Tenaglia, they would have their little things, you know.
I actually got that from like that whole idea from like Steve Lawler. Like when I first became like cool with him, he was always like, yo, I play like 90% of the stuff is either edits by me or something, and I'm like, it's a great idea, you know, just touch it in a certain way so that makes it a little bit, you know.
Because people always ask at the end of it, you know, like, yo, what was that mix? Because I don't have that mix, you know.
And in this day and age of music, it's so available to everybody. You have to do something to it to make
just
it a little
stand out a little bit, you know.
Absolutely, and it shows that you are capable of doing it. Because a lot of people aren't. You know? You have a really strong connection with all the Spain guys and that type of tribal, which is, what do you like about that type of music? How did you guys meet up with that crew?
Well, Peter hooked me up with one of his friends from South America, and he in turn actually gave me Chusas Zaballos' contact, and I just happened to do this track because I was just so inspired by what they were doing at that time. I sent it over, and they just absolutely loved it. And you know, me being Latin, and you know, it's easy. You know, it's easy for me to get along with them, and we just really had a good bond. And they've actually helped me and Peter a lot. You know, they've helped us a lot. You know, just with connections and music and remixes and tours and dates and stuff like that. So it's been like, you know, they've been really helpful.
What about that sound do you respond to?
I mean, at that time, you know, that's what was like going on. And the thing is that it wasn't New York. Like, basically, it wasn't New York, but it had the feeling of that New York sound. And that's what I related to so much because of the drums, the driving, you know, rhythms and percussion and all that stuff. And that's in our foundation, you know, of what we love about music, you know. So pretty much it was an easy thing for me to grab onto, you know.
Right. How did the idea for Mind Control come about?
That was actually an accident. I mean, but we just worked on a track.
Yeah, we started playing together more frequently, and it was working, playing together, and then we did this track together, Mind Control, and then we were just like, you know what?
It sounds like a good idea,
it's a cool idea, Mind Control. So like,
you know,
let's run with it. And Benoit said, "It's a great idea. It's exactly what I was thinking." So,
you know, and now you need to brand sometimes.
It's so much about branding these days that if you don't have a brand, it's kind of, you know, it's hard to like push it. You need something that's marketable.
And you have the branding compilation coming out soon.
Yes, that's the next
May 20th, right?
Benoit?
I think it's May 20th, yeah.
May 20th it is, yeah. On Star 69. Yeah.
Why did you choose to go with Star 69?
Actually, you know, we just at the time we were like, you know what? Let's try to like do a compilation. I think it would be a good time. And Richie agreed, and we had a couple people in mind that we try to like push the idea to, and just like it was crazy. The next day we got a phone call from like Peter Roth, you know, and he's like, come up, I want to talk to you. And then he was like, you know, why don't we do this compilation? And he was one of the people we were actually thinking about talking to. So it was just like, you know what? We were thinking about it. He called.
Perfect time to
go. Peter Rohofer was one of those early New York DJs who influenced you as well.
He was definitely one of our
biggest inspirations.
Yeah, I mean, I remember going to hear Junior play like his whole album in one night at Arena, you know. And he was definitely one of my influences as well, you know.
We used to talk. Remember in Miami, we were like, Peter, what do you use for your drums?
How do you get these drums?
I use a Lynn drum.
And he would definitely lie to us, but you know, so good.
What does is the compilation reflective of the Pacha sets?
I think so. I really do. I mean, over the course of the 2 CDs, from like, you know, it's a total of maybe 130 minutes, 140 minutes. I think it reflects what we do. I mean, it starts up from house to like groovy, kind of minimal, techie, and then goes all the way till the end where you're playing like, you know, Mauro Baccato stuff. So I think it pretty much captures what we do.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to capture it.
Yeah,
you know,
it's one of the biggest challenges.
2 CDs,
keeping music fresh.
It's you know, but we at least try to put records that we know were
cool
good.
Things,
you know.
What do you guys think are your big Pacha records of the residency so far?
Oh man, lately, I mean, stuff that comes to my mind.
Well, definitely one of his records.
I mean,
probably Nelly Furtado was definitely one.
Yeah, 2 years ago, or like Yoko Ono, but
Mind Control was
Roadkill,
Roadkill.
That was big everywhere, but.